Hi, what's up, everyone? We've got a couple of ProTechs to talk about, and I've done extensive videos on these, on this model previously. So I'm not going to go into all of the specs and details and all that. I'm just going to really talk about these two particular models, and I will put a link to my other videos down below and up in the corner at the end. Here is the part numbers for these specific versions if you're interested. Okay. These did come from my buddy Gil over at Wild About Sporting Goods. It's not a paid promotion or anything like that, but you do get a 10% discount if you want to go over there and buy anything from his store. He's just a friend of mine who sends over cool stuff here and there to allow me to film it and share with you guys. So I don't get nothing out of it, but it's fun and I appreciate it. So these are California legal automatic knives. Here in California, the blade length on any automatic must be less than 2 inches, and these do cover that. What I like about these is that ProTech is keeping up with the times. So this particular one is in Magna Cut with bronze scales. So this one's actually a bit on the heavier side. Let's see if I zoom in a little bit. If I can get the whole thing, zoom out a little bit, maybe. There you go. So this is their Tonto version. And this one here is a Warncliffe with a beautiful Damascus pattern from Vegas Forge. All right, so this one is a bit heavier. I didn't weigh them or anything like that, but it is Magna Cut, which I know Aussie Mike will love just because the fact it's Magna Cut and he has a Magna Cut addiction. So as I've said in previous videos, they do the pocket clips perfectly well. The clip is recessed into the scale material and they use countersunk hardware. These things fire like nobody's business. You want to be holding on if you're doing a ProTech knife, because on their bigger ones specifically, they can just jump out of your hand if you're not holding on tight enough, especially if you don't expect it. So ProTech is a knife that you might want to warn a non-knife person about if you're going to hand them a ProTech to check out. Because for the uninitiated, it may even fly out of their hands a little bit more because they're not expecting such force to go on it. So this one has a beautiful milling pattern, has a lanyard loop built in. It's not an integral. You can see the seam, but it's done very, very well. Again, these are a little too small for me. This one's about 300 and something bucks right now, 315, 320. This one steps up the price a little bit. These are, I believe, aluminum anodized scales with a beautiful Del Fuego fire type of Damascus pattern. I love the look of that. And when Gil showed this on his Instagram, I kind of wanted to look at this. These are limited number, 34 of 90 made. And this one's about 500 bucks, 480 bucks. This one hits maybe a little bit less different. I don't know. It's hard to tell. They both hit very hard. They're both very cool. Let me zoom back out here so you can get kind of some perspective on it. It is small. These aren't going to be for everybody. This is a good fifth pocket carry if you're into that. Now, they do have other standard versions. And I believe the other ones, I'm not even going to try to remember what steel they are. But the standard models are going to be like 125 bucks. So you can get into these in an affordable way if, one, you're in California and you want an automatic. This is a good way to go. It's too small for me. Like, I'm just not going to buy one. I am in California, but I am more into full-size automatics. I wish this one hit like a ProTech, but, you know, at the same point, I don't really carry automatics very much at all anyway, because for me, they're not really my thing. I appreciate them. I think they're fun, but for daily use, not really my thing. So let's do a couple of size comparisons here, just because I didn't go through all of the specs and stuff. You can check out my other video. It's basically just a hair shorter than a Sharpie. So if you're into small knives, and I'm kind of doing them this way just because of the clips, it's such a small knife, it doesn't really sit flat. So here it is next to the Spyder Codelica. If you're into small knives, this could be an option for you. The Kubi KB237, one of my favorite budget knives. And then into full-size knives, here is the VC Edge interface. Let me show it up against the Hellraiser automatic that I pulled out earlier. Again, just to give you kind of an idea. I think small knives have their place, and I have kind of moved into smaller knives. I'm not carrying big overbuilt Praetorians, Hinder XM24s, Reese Whelans. You know, I'm not really carrying those big, bulky, overbuilt, thick knives anymore. I own some. I still enjoy them. I carry them from time to time, but I've started to kind of gravitate a little bit smaller. I haven't gravitated this small yet, though. But you never know. I think that's the beauty of this hobby is we're always changing and evolving. I try very hard not to say, oh, this knife, I'm never going to sell this knife. This is my end-all, be-all grail knife. Well, I just know that's not true because, you know, for instance, this one here, this is probably one I would say I'm never going to sell, but I'm not going to say that because I just don't know what's going to happen in life. I may decide that, you know, it's time to move on. I've had knives that I thought I was going to have for a very long time. And then I ended up selling them for one reason or another. Maybe I wanted to buy something else that was cool, or it was just time to move it on because somebody liked it better. I've actually done that. I had a Damasteel Hellraiser that the original owner wanted to buy back from me. I've done that a few times. I've sold the original back to somebody I've bought it from because they had a change of heart 6 months later and they really wanted it back in their collection. And it was much more important to them than it was to me. So point being, I think I can speak for myself. I am evolving all the time in my knife collecting hobby and gravitating one way or another. I've sold some Hellraisers, and I love the Hellraiser line, but I have sold some. And, you know, this is one that it may get sold at some point. Already know who wants it. They called dibs on it the minute I got it. And probably going to sell to them shortly just because it's time to move that on so that I can take that money and spend it somewhere else. Will I evolve into tiny fifth pocket knives? Time will tell. I am appreciating fixed blades more and more now. So maybe I will appreciate the fifth pocket knives more and more as time goes on. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear your opinion on let's call it the tiny knife syndrome, and go from there. Thanks, guys. Please go check out the ProTech videos up here in the corners to get more details, all the specific sizes and dimensions and stuff on these Runt knives from ProTech.